Recording. Hey guys, so I'm going to give you guys a quick walk around of my 2013 Tesla Model S rental on Turo. Kind of want to talk about all the features and everything you need to know when you are renting a Tesla. It's actually quite simple and there's not a whole lot that you need to know when you're renting this car. It's super easy and you just have to keep a few things in mind. So I'm going to walk you through the features now. So one of the things about this car is that you'll notice right here that there is no press to start, no on or off button, and there's nowhere to put your key either, because your key is just like a little fob that you have to have so that the car knows that whether to be active or not, and when to unlock and lock as well. So the cool thing about the Tesla is that right when you walk into the car is actually on. So there's no need to actually, put a key in an ignition or press a button or anything. It automatically knows that you're ready to go. And then it's real simple. You have your drive, you have your reverse, and you have your park right here. And so those are all the controls that you need to actually operate the car. On the front screen here, you have access to your range, and this will tell you, just kind of like your gas gauge, this will tell you how much battery life you have. Like mine says right now, I have 250 miles, and that's indicated by the green battery. So that's kind of key to keep your eye on when you are driving the Tesla around and going on a trip, is keeping an eye on your range. And then the rest of the car is really operated by this central screen right here. This is essentially what controls the entire car and all your functionality. So I'll walk you through kind of some of the main things that you should know and know that you have access to in terms of features when you are renting the Tesla Model S. Now your main controls are actually controlled through the button called Controls, conveniently enough. So if you hit that, you'll see this screen pop up right here. In the bottom left, you have access to your trunks. Now I say trunks because the back of the car is a trunk, as well as the front of the car. So normally where cars house engines, for Teslas it serves as a trunk because the battery of the car actually sits on the floor of the car. So that's kind of the nice thing about a Tesla, is that you have tons of storage space. So you can actually operate both trunks from right here. Now, while you're in the car, the Tesla will automatically lock its doors. So if you are picking somebody up or somebody is outside and you need to let them in, you can use a unlock and lock feature from inside of the car. And then you also have all your light controls here. You can adjust your screen's brightness and tons of other settings that are here. Now, the nice thing is that everything is on auto settings, so you don't really have to mess around with it too much. Then you also have some neat settings like your sunroof, which I really like because it's sort of like a toggle, and you can actually control the percentage of how much you want your sunroof to open, and you can just kind of toggle back and forth between what it is that you want, whatever your comfort level is. Another thing that I love on this car is the automated ride height suspension. I don't know how well you can see it here, but you see this picture of the Tesla. Now, something you'll notice while you're driving around the car is that the suspension, and it actually shows a little graphic right here. Your suspension of the car will rise and lower as you're driving depending on the types of roads that you're on. So right here, it's already enabled, it's on auto, and so you'll notice if you hear something kind of funny or you feel the car moving up or down, it's just the car adjusting its ride height and its suspension so that you don't hit any major dips in the road or anything like that. So that's most of the stuff here that you need to know. Aside from that, you can set up your driving comfort level, like your steering wheel. You can adjust what mode it's in. Generally it's set to standard, but if you want sort of a stiffer drive, like if you're used to driving like a BMW, for example, you can switch it to sport and kind of get a little bit more of a stiffer steering wheel that maybe you prefer when handling a car. So you have tons of other things that you can kind of play around with and kind of adjust the car to whatever it is that you're comfortable with. Then you have sort of your main screen, and you can set really whatever screens that you want here, but I have my two favorite things, which is my navigation and my music. The nice thing about the music portion of this car is that Tesla comes with multiple streaming programs already built into it. So you have quite a few. You have your radio, then you have Tesla's streaming, and then you have another one called Tune In. And the nice thing is that you can literally search for anything, and it'll just pull up whatever it is that you're looking for. So I looked for U2. You can see results for the artists, the albums, any podcasts that they have, any of their other albums and songs that they have. So it's just a huge variety of stuff. They have podcasts. You can search by artists, albums, songs, and stations. So, I mean, you'll never run out of content that you're looking for, which I absolutely love. And then just like any other car, you can... Okay, is it going again? Okay. Then here on the bottom, what you have is all your temperature controls, which is, again, also really easy. Right here, you have your heated seats, and you'll notice that because they turn red. You have your volume control, which is right here. And then you also have your custom temperature control. So you can control your fan speed, you can control where the air is hitting and turning your AC on and off. And then finally, the navigation, which I think is the most important part to the car, because one of the main things is charging your car while you're on the road, or if you're going on a road trip. The beautiful thing about this car is that the navigation tells you exactly where you need to go to charge and when you need to go there. And so you do that by just tapping on the navigation. Generally, your navigation will look like this, where it has no menu. So if you just tap on it, you'll see an entire sort of menu pop up. If you hit this charging bolt to your bottom right, you'll see that the map changes and you get a lot of these red pin drops on your map. All the red pin drops right here indicate supercharger stations, which are specifically made for Teslas. These are Tesla supercharger stations, which are free to use, and they're incredibly fast when it comes to driving your or charging your car. And you can see right here, the closest one to me is Hawthorne. It's because I'm actually here right now. And once I hit that, it'll automatically route you to it, tell you how far, how much battery it's going to take you to get there when you arrive. So it's incredibly easy to get to. So you always want to kind of keep an eye on that and plan for that throughout your trip. And also, the other nice thing is that if you sort of hit these pin drops, it'll even tell you here, I don't know how well you can see this, but it says at least 9 out of 12 stalls available. So what it's telling you is the availability of the charging stalls. And so you can kind of account for, how long you'll be there. Now, in my experience, the most I've ever had to wait, and this is like during peak time when people get out of work, was like 5 minutes to get into a stall. So generally you can pull up to a stall and you won't really have to wait. It's really rare. And then also the other nice thing is that all of these superchargers are generally designed and placed near areas where there's coffee, a mall, Costco. There's always something around to keep you occupied, so you don't have to be stuck in the car for too long. And then also, if you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of gray pin drops that you'll see around the map as well. Now, these gray pin drops are your regular electric vehicle charging stations, right? So they were not designed for Teslas. However, in the event that you can't make it to a supercharger, you can go to one of these, and these also cost money. I believe they're generally only about $1 to $2 an hour, which is not too bad, but they're not as fast as superchargers. Now, in the event that you do have to go to one of these just because you can't make it to a supercharger, the car does come with an adapter. This adapter right here actually plugs into your charging port in the Tesla, and then you're able to take the EV charger and plug it into this. So it's really easy. So it's kind of a nice feature that Tesla has, because you're really able to charge anywhere at any time simply by using this little piece right here, this Tesla adapter for charging. So I definitely love that, and it gives you a good peace of mind that you have this in the car. And then finally, aside from that, you have all your functions up here. You have your music, your navigation, a calendar, a really cool consumption map. I love this consumption map because it'll actually predict how much range you'll get based on your driving style. So if you're an aggressive driver, then it'll sort of project how much mileage you'll truly get. If you drive a little bit more reserved, it can project how much mileage you'll get. So I like to check into this time to time and just kind of see how I'm driving and plan my trips accordingly. amazingly. And then you also have access to a web browser, and then you have access to, you can actually operate your backup cam at any time. So, you know, if you kind of need to see what's going on. All right, guys, sorry about that. I got cut off there, but I was just saying that you have access to your backup cam if you need to check at any point what's going on behind you. But my favorite is to just keep it set to my navigation and my music. Those are two important things that I use. So I'm gonna just hop out of the car really quick and give you guys a quick walkthrough of the outside of the car and how a supercharger works and where to access your charging port. And then just the main thing before you do get out of the car is that you do have to open the charge port, which is the same thing as opening your gas cap on gas cars. And where I was showing you earlier where you have access to your trunks and your lock and unlock, you also have access to your charge port. And when you hit that charge port, you'll actually hear it kind of pop open, and that's how you know that it's open, and you can hop out of the car and it's going to be on the back left. So I'll give you guys a quick walk around of the outside of the car. Alright, so I'm actually at a supercharging station right now, and I just wanted to give you a quick look at the front of the car here, which is also a pretty big, actually really big trunk. So you can use this if you're traveling with a lot of luggage or a lot of stuff. This is a great great storage space. And then I'll show you the back of the car as well, and then walk you through the supercharger. So I have the trunk open here, and as you can see, it's also a really large trunk, and you have storage for your charging cable should you need it, and then you also have actually extra storage beneath the trunk as well. So that's kind of really nice to have just so much additional storage for anything that you might need. And then you have your automatic trunk control as well. So here I am at a supercharging station. As you can tell, it looks really, really simple and easy to use. So when you pull up to a supercharging station, this is your charging port right here that you opened in the car. And the hose just looks like this, which just comes out like that, and generally it's just hanging right here. So you just pull it out, plug it in just like that, and then you're all set to go. And the front of the car will actually tell you how long it's going to take to charge and what your charging time looks at. I'm just gonna give you a quick screen share of that. So right when I plugged in my supercharger, this screen popped up on the front of my Tesla, and it just says ready to charge. I have 252 miles, and then because I'm at a full charge, it's not showing me the time here, but normally it would tell you like, oh, it's going to take 45 minutes to charge, and it'll tell you at which charging speed it's charging at. So it's really nice and convenient. And that's pretty much it to renting a Tesla, and it's just an amazing car, so easy to use, so simple to navigate, and you know, I would definitely highly recommend renting this car. Check out my listing on Turo and definitely rent this car on your next trip. Saves you cost on gas, and it's just such a fun experience. I'll post my link below so you guys can check out my profile and take a look at some awesome pictures I've taken for my Tesla.